myself Jaymin Patel from LC Institute of Pharmacy. Welcome to all in our online lecture series. Now in our today's session, we will continue with the immunity chapter. Okay, it's the part of pharmaceutical biotechnology. So in our previous two lecture of immunity, we discussed the classifications of immunity. We discussed the type of immune system. In a type of immune system, main the two type is there. One is the innate immune system and second one is the adaptive immune system. The innate immune system is nothing but called as a first line immune system. Means it prevents the entry of microorganisms. In the innate immune system, main four barrier is there: anatomic barrier, phagocytosis, physiological barrier, and inflammation barrier. So first three barrier that we already discussed in our last lecture. Now the remaining one, that is the inflammation. In our today's session, we will continue with our innate immune system, the last barrier, that is the inflammation. So let's see the inflammation. Now in inflammation, what is the inflammation? Okay, actually inflammation is good for the us or it is bad for us. So actually inflammation is the protective mechanism. So when the inflammation is occur, means what it indicates? It indicates that our immune system respond to the injury. Our immune system responds to the organism. So when any tissue damage is occur, okay, tissue damage caused by the wounds, otherwise by invading the pathogenic microorganism, induce the complex sequence of events, and that is called as the inflammation. So what's happen actually in the inflammations? How we can identify whether the inflammation is occur or not? So if we talk about the past, so in the first century AD, the inflammations was described by main four sign of inflammations. Means four symptoms is there through which the inflammations can be described, and that four symptoms was given by the Roman physician, that is nothing but the cancers. Okay, so four symptoms of the inflammations, that is the rubor, tumor, calor, and dolor. Rubor, tumor, calor, and dolor. Rubor means what? In English, rubor means the redness, tumor means the swelling, calor means the heat, and dolor means the pain. Now how the redness is occur, swelling is occur, heat is going to produce, and pain is occur. These all the things that we will discuss in mechanism of inflammation. Okay, and in second century, one of the another scientist, that is the Galen, introduced the fifth sign of the inflammation, that is the punctio licha. Means that particular part where the inflammation is occur, in that particular part the effect of that skin, okay, otherwise the capability of that skin, function of that skin is completely destroyed. Okay, means that loss of function is occur. So where the injury is occur, when the inflammation is occur, that part will lose the activities. Means functional activity of that cells is destroyed, is diminished. Okay, so this is nothing but the fifth sign, that is the punctio licha. So main inflammations is explained by the four sign: rubor, tumor, calor, dolor, and punctio licha. Now how these all the symptoms arise, that we will see in our mechanism of inflammation. Now if we talk about the steps of the inflammation, mechanism of inflammation. So inflammation is a three-step process. Inflammation is a three-step process. First one is vasodilation, second one is the increase in capillary permeability, and third one is the influx of phagocytes. Okay, how these three steps occur, okay, that we will understand by this picture. Okay, first step, that is the vasodilation. So when any injuries occur, means when any injuries occur, otherwise if any microorganism that enter inside the skin, okay, cross the skin barrier and enter below the skin, later on inflammation process is initiated. Okay, inflammation process is. Now in this inflammation process, what's happened first? So different chemicals is there, that different chemical initiate the inflammation process. Which chemical involved in the initiations of the inflammation process, that we will discuss later on. First we will discuss about the steps of the inflammation. So first in response to the chemicals, in response to the cytokines. Okay, first step agar that is a vasodilation, means this is the blood vessels. Okay, this is the blood vessels in which the blood is going to flow, right? Now in the vasodilations, the blood vessels that carry the blood vessels that carry the blood to that particular part where the injury is occurred, that blood vessels is dilated. Okay, means whatever the vessels is there, that vessels is dilated. So when the vessels is dilated, ultimately the large quantity of fluid is passed to that particular part, large quantity of fluid that pass to that particular part. So ultimately large quantity of blood that pass from that particular part. So that's why the redness is occur to that area. Redness that is occur because the large quantity of blood that supply to that particular part, particular portion. So that's why the redness that occur to that particular part. So that is the first sign. Second one, when the blood vessels is dilated, when the blood vessels is dilated, so what is the, whatever the membrane is there, cell membrane is there, that make the vessels. Okay, so epithelial barrier is there. This epithelial barrier due to the dilations is stage, it is in the stage conditions. When the epithelial barrier is in the stage conditions, so ultimately the permeability of capillary membrane is increased. The second step, increase in the capillary permeability. So permeability is increased, permeability is increased. So as the permeability is increased, the blood fluid with the proteins, blood fluid with proteins is exudate. Okay, it will be removed from these pores and it will be accumulated to that particular part, it will be accumulated to that particular part. So body blood fluid is come out from these blood vessels and later on it will be accumulated where the injuries occur. And due to this accumulation, due, due to the accumulations of the fluid that is excreted from the blood, here that particular part is in swelling conditions, that particular part is full with the fluid and that's why it is in form of the swelling. Okay, so it is nothing but the second sign of the inflammation, that is the tumor. Okay, means the swelling. Why the swelling is occur? Because the capillary permeability is increased, that's why the blood fluid is exudate and it will be accumulated to that particular part where the injuries occur and that's why swelling is occur. Okay, so this one is the second sign of the inflammations. Now here that fluid is accumulated. Okay, why the large quantity of fluid that accumulated to that particular part? It is actually a preventive mechanism, it is actually a protective mechanism. We can say is that it is a protective mechanism. Now the third step, due to the different cytokines secreted. Okay, here as the capillary permeability is increased, as a capillary permeability is increased, this is nothing but the blood vessels, endothelial barrier is there, that permeability is increased. Now this endothelial barrier, this endothelial barrier is activated, this endothelial barrier is activated, some the receptor present on this endothelial barrier is activated and to this receptor, this phagocyte cell, this is nothing but the phagocyte cell. Okay, these are the phagocyte cell. This phagocyte cell, first step is this phagocyte cell is attracted toward the inner wall of this endothelial barrier. Phagocyte cell is in the moving condition. Now this phagocyte cell is attracted toward the receptor that is present on the surface of endothelial barrier. Okay, it is attracted toward this receptor, it will facilitate the attachment of this phagocyte cell. Phagocyte cell attached to this inner wall of the endothelial barrier and later on it will facilitate the permeability of phagocyte cell. So phagocyte cell is come out from this endothelial barrier. Now this phagocyte cell is accumulated toward the area where the injuries occur. What is the role of the phagocyte cell? Phagocyte cell will induce the phagocytosis process. This phagocyte cell induces the phagocytosis process and due to this phagocytosis process, the death of bacteria is occurred. So third step, that is the influx of the phagocyte cell. Third step, that is the influx of phagocyte cell. So as the phagocyte cell is accumulated in that particular part, phagocytes, large quantity of phagocyte cell, it will be accumulated to that particular part. Okay, it will start to digest the bacteria. That phagocyte cell actually it is the part of first line system. It is not capable to differentiate between the self cell and non-self cell. Okay, actually the antibody, it will guide the phagocyte cell for the discrimination between the self cell and non-self cell. But here the antibody is not present. So this phagocyte cell directly start to digest this all the cell nearer to here. So it will start the digestion of bacterial cell. Some of the normal cell is also undergo the digestion process. Okay, so this bacterial cell is digested, normal cell is digested. These all are suspended in the fluid that is accumulated in that particular part. So the dead body of bacteria, fragments of the normal cell, fragments of the bacterial cell in that body fluid, in that blood fluid that is exuded from the blood vessel, okay, is combinedly make a chemical, and that is called as a pus. It is called as a pus formation. We know that when any injuries occur to that particular part, after some specific period of the time, means after 1 day or after 2 days, the pus is going to form to that part. Okay, what is the pus? What is the compositions of the pus? So pus is nothing but the blood fluid that is exuded to that. It is the colorless. In that blood fluid, the dead body of bacteria is suspended, dead body of normal cell is suspended, and it combinedly make the pus. And the destructions of this bacteria, destructions of this normal cell is occurred by the influx of phagocyte cell. Okay, so this phagocyte cell is responsible for the pus formations. So if the pus formation is occur, it indicates that our inflammation process occur properly. Okay, at the initial stage when the entry of microorganism is very less, so ultimately pus is not going to form. Why? Because the destruction is not required to up to that level. If the large quantity of microorganism that enter due to the injury, so definitely our phagocyte cell will destroy that microorganism and pus is going to form to that particular part, okay, where the injuries occur. So these are the step of the inflammation. So inflammation is a three-step process. First one is the vasodilation. Second one is the increase the capillary permeability. Third one is the influx of phagocyte cell. Now the question should arise the another two sign. Okay, that is these two, the calor and dollar. Calor means the heat. So how the heat is generated to that particular part. So here, as we discussed that here, they increase the vasodilations, increase, sorry, increase the capillary permeability due to the vasodilation. So here vasodilation is occur. So large quantity of fluid that pass from these blood vessels and the blood capillary that carry the blood away from that area, the blood capillary that carry the blood away from that area, that blood capillary is as such otherwise is slightly contracted. So large fluid that is come to here and very less fluid is passed from this blood vessels. Okay, so ultimately due to this large fluid that is passed from this small capillary, the friction is generated. You understand what I am trying to say here? The large quantity due to the vasodilatations, large quantity of fluid that is enter here, that is come here, and the vessels that carry the blood away from that area, that carry the blood away from that area, okay, that blood vessels is as such otherwise is slightly contracted. So ultimately the fluid, large quantity of fluid that come here and that fluid is passed away from that area, here the blood capillary is contracted, so that's why the friction is generated. Large fluid is passed from this narrow tube, so ultimately friction is generated, and due to this friction heat is generated to that particular part. So by this way the heat sign is generated. Understand? So these are the main three signs of the inflammations. First one is the redness, second one is the swelling, and third one is the heat. Now how the pain is generated to that particular part, that we will discuss in the uh, next topic. Okay, here three sign is generated, the destruction is occur, pus is going to form. Now the question should arise, how this vasodilation is occur, which cytokines is involved. These are the step of the inflammation. By these three steps the inflammation is occur. Now how the inflammation is initiated, which cytokines is responsible for the initiations of inflammation, which cytokines is responsible for inducing the vasodilations. Okay, so actually the inflammation is the complex mechanism. Inflammation is a complex mechanism, series of events that involve in this inflammation process. Okay, here we will discuss the important chemical mediator only. Okay, actually the many of the chemicals involved in the inflammation process. If we talk about the important chemical mediator, so first one is the C reactive protein. Okay, it is the acute phase protein. It is the part of, it is the member of acute phase protein. This C reactive protein actually produced by the liver. The C reactive protein actually produced by the liver. When any injuries occur, when any injuries occur, otherwise any damage is occurred to that particular part, the liver in response to that injury produce this C reactive protein. Okay, and this C reactive proteins, okay, it will be connected with the bacteria, that fluid, okay, some fluid that is excreted normally outside the blood vessels also without vasodilation. This C reactive proteins is connected with the bacteria, and whatever the bacterial wall is there, that bacterial wall contains the C polysaccharide. This bacterial wall contains the C polysaccharide. So this C reactive proteins, okay, is attracted toward the C polysaccharide, that is the part of bacterial cell wall. Now this complexation is occur, and these complexations initiate the vasodilation process. It will favor the vasodilation process. It will favor the inflammation step. So this is the first chemical mediator that involve in this initiations of inflammation. Second one, most important mediator, that is the histamine. Histamine is part of the mast cell. Mast cell that is present below the skin. When any injuries occur, okay, in response to this injury, the mast cell is activated, degranulations of the mast cell is occur, and histamine is going to secrete it. And this histamine is the main mediator for the dilation. The histamine is the main mediator of the dilations of the blood vessels. Whatever the blood vessel dilation is occur, vasodilation is occur. This vasodilation is strongly occur by the histamine secreted by the mast cell. So these are the second mediator. It responsible for the initiations of inflammation process. Now third mediator, that is the kinin. Kinin is present in the blood, okay, is a part of the blood. Okay, kinin is actually in the inactive form. It is circulated in the blood vessels, okay, in the inactive form. When any injury is occur, histamine is secreted, C reactive protein is going to react with the bacteria later on. This kinin is converted into the active form. In response to this all the activity, this kinin is converted into the active form, and the active form of the kinin is the bradykinin. Okay, I think so you are familiar with these terms, bradykinin. This bradykinin, okay, is the active form of the kinin, and this bradykinin will induce the more vasodilations, is induce the increase the capillary permeability. So vasodilations is supported by the bradykinin. The increased capillary permeability is supported by the bradykinin. Additional role of the kinin is the means the bradykinin. Additional role of this bradykinin is this bradykinin will activate the pain sensor to that particular part where the injuries occur. This bradykinin will activate the pain sensor, okay, to that particular part where the injuries occur, and due to the activations of this pain sensor in that particular area, pain is occur. So fourth sign, that is nothing but the pain. Okay, here this one is the fourth sign, that is the dollar. Okay, this pain that is occur due to the bradykinin. Bradykinin activate the pain sensor, and that's why the pain is occur. Now here the pain is induced by our chemicals. So actually any pain is occur when any inflammation is occur, and due to this inflammation pain is occur. So pain is beneficial for the body. Yes, definitely it is beneficial. How? When any pain is occur to that any particular part, so ultimately it is the human tendency. If any pain is occur to that particular part, so we will try to protect that part. We will try to protect this part. Okay, if pain is not occur in that area, so ultimately I will handle this area rudely, okay, normal. But if the pain is occur in that particular part, I will try to protect that part. So if we provide the rest to that part for the maximum time, so ultimately due to the resting conditions, the healing process is accelerated, and ultimately inflammations can be healed. This microorganism can easily killed by our immune system. So here healing process is initiated due to the pain. If pain is occur, we will try to protect that part and we will provide the rest to that part, and due to the rest healing process is accelerated, and that's why the pain is occur to that particular part. So this is about the role of bradykinin. Okay, understand, this is about the role of bradykinin. Now when the vasodilation is occur and capillary permeability is activated, so with that, okay, when any permeable means any capillary exudate the fluid, permeability is going to increase. So side by side, one important mechanism, okay, it is responsible to control the pressure in the blood vessels, that is a blood clotting process. Okay, when any fluid is exuded from the blood, so ultimately blood pressure is going to decrease. So to normalize that blood pressure, okay, in our blood, the special enzymes are responsible present, and that enzyme is responsible to induce the blood clotting process. So here when any injuries occur, okay, blood is going to remove from that part. So enzymes induce the blood clotting process. Okay, so it will activate the fibrin, it will activate the fibrin, and that fibrin will make the protective layer. Suppose the here injury is occur, okay, now from this injured area the microorganism can enter into the blood circulation, but due to the activations of the blood clotting system, okay, fibrin is removed, and that fibrin will make a protective cover, and this protective cover will prevent the entry of microorganism. This protective cover will prevent the entry of microorganism. Okay, so fibrin will make the protective cover, and due to this cover microorganism cannot enter into the systemic circulations. Now this fibrin, okay, as inflammation is subsidized, okay, some of the debris is going to remove, and the cell, connective cell is start to reproduce. Okay, so it will be reproduced from this fibrin part, and the new connective tissue is generated, that is called as a fibroblast. The new connective tissue is generated in that injured area, that is called as a fibroblast. Okay, and in simple sense we can say it as a scar tissue. We can say scar tissue. If any injuries occur, okay, when the inflammation is occur, later on inflammation subsidize the, we will recover from the injury. Okay, we observe that that particular part is slightly black in color. Okay, that black color is nothing but the scar tissue. Okay, and that scar tissue is nothing but the fibroblast. Okay, it is produced through the fibrin. Okay, that's why it is called as a fibroblast. So this is about the inflammation process. I hope you understand how the inflammation is occur. Okay, so rubber, tumor, keloid, dollar, this and punctualism. These are the 5 signs of the inflammation. Okay, so inflammation is the last barrier. It will prevent the entry of microorganism inside the body, means in the systemic circulation. Okay, is the part of the innate immune system. 4 barrier is there in the innate immune system. First one is the anatomic barrier, second one is the phagocytosis, third one is the physiological barrier, and fourth one is the inflammation. Now we will move toward the adaptive immune system. Okay, here we will move to the adaptive immune system. Now adaptive immune system is also called as a specific immune system, is also known as a specific immune system, is also known as a second line immune system. Now what is the meaning of second line immune system? Second line immune system means when the first line immune system, means the innate immune system, try to protect the micro body against the entry of microorganism, but the microorganism is capable to cross this all the barrier and enter into the systemic circulations. Later on this second line immune system is activated, this specific immune system is activated. Now this specific terms means it is specific for the specific bacteria, it is specific for the specific bacteria. Okay, main 4 characteristic is that, okay, it will differentiate this adaptive immune system, this specific immune system, from the non-specific. First one, that is a specificity. Specificity means what? Okay, means The specific immune system is specific for the specific bacteria. Okay, if we talk about the innate immune system, this innate immune system is not specific. Okay, all it is effective over all the microorganism. It will effective over the bacteria, it is effective over the virus, it is effective over all the microorganisms that can cause the disease. It is harmful to the body. Now this specific immune system, okay, it work specific to the specific bacteria. Okay, adaptive immune system is activated for the particular bacteria. So ultimately this adaptive immune system, this specific immune system is not effective over the other bacteria. For the other bacteria it will generate the other immune power. Okay, so it is specific for the specific bacteria. Second one is the memory. Okay, when any injury is means when any microorganism that enter inside the body and cause the disease, so this specific immune system is activated, it will identify that microorganism. Okay, and it will try to recover the body from that infections. Okay, once is completely recovered, later on when the same microorganism attack to the body second time, this adaptive immune system is already kept the memory for that microorganism. So due to this memory cells, due to this memory of this microorganism, this adaptive immune system responds quickly against this microorganism, and it will destroy all the microorganism before generating the symptoms of infection, before generating the disease. Okay, so it will destroy the microorganism, and this concept is utilized in vaccine preparation. Okay, that we will discuss in the vaccine. Second one is the diversity. Diversity means we know that the crores of microorganism is there, millions, billions of microorganism is there. Okay, they can produce the disease in our body. So for every microorganism the specific immune system is generated. Okay, so for crores of microorganism, crores of different antibody is produced by our immune system. For different microorganism, different antibody is produced by this specific immune system. So it is the diverse character of this specific immune system. So the fourth important characteristic of the specific immune system, that is the diversity. Fourth one, the specific immune system is capable to differentiate between the self cell and non-self cell. Okay, if any non-self cell enter inside the body, it can identify that non-self cell and ultimately it will fight against this non-self cell. But it can differentiate. Okay, the specific immune system is not going to damage to the self cell, normal cell. So that is the important characteristic of this specific immune system, adaptive immune system. If we talk about the classifications of specific immune system, adaptive immune system, so it is mainly classified in the two categories, that is the humoral immune system and cellular immune system. Humoral immune system is also called as the antibody mediated system, and cellular immune system is also called as a cell mediated immune system. So before going to this type, we will understand some terminology. Okay, some important component involved in this immune system one by one. Later on we will discuss about the humoral immunity and cellular immunity. Okay, so this all the component, okay, that we will see in our next lecture. So here we conclude our lecture. Thank you very much. And one more thing, okay, please subscribe our channel, that is the Pharma Ignite, okay, to see this all our online lecture series. Understand? Okay, thank you very much.